What's the matter? Dylan, stop it. You're scaring me. Dylan?
Now, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is a 1994 movie that tells the story of the movie A Nightmare on Elm Street coming to life. Yes, Robert Englund, who plays Freddy, Heather Langenkamp, who plays Nancy.
What the hell is going on, Nancy?
Why are you calling me Nancy, John?
Why are you calling me John?
And even Wes Craven, who wrote the movie,
whether or not you're willing to play Nancy one last time,
are all affected by a demon entity masquerading as Freddy Krueger, whose #1 goal is to merge the movie with real life. So, why should you watch this movie? Reason number 1, Heather Langenkamp.
Is Freddy really dead?
Of course he is. Freddy's dead and gone.
Yes, you heard me correctly. In this movie, everything revolves around Heather Langenkamp.
You played that girl in that movie with the guy with the...
This movie has Heather, the actress, playing a fictionalized version of herself.
Freddy's got my baby! He's got my Dylan!
Miss Langenkamp! Miss Langenkamp! I suggest you go home and get some rest.
And after being stalked by an anonymous person, Heather starts to receive creepy phone calls and visions of something like Freddy.
Hello?
1, 2.
But except it's not Freddy, and she just chalks it up to being some sort of stalker who is being cruel.
Leave us alone, you son of a bitch!
But when she loses her husband in a car accident in the exact same way she did in her dreams, she soon realizes that something more is at play. Reason number 2, Dylan Porter.
Hungry, Dylan?
Now, the son of Heather and Chase Porter, Dylan is the object of the entity's plan.
Dylan, I don't want you watching this.
And by using Dylan, the entity will use the face of Freddy Krueger to instill fear into Dylan.
Honey, you should do that.
Too late. I'm almost there.
And once Dylan has proper fear of Freddy, the entity will be able to come into the real world to kill Heather and anyone she holds dear.
Let's get him open. Good and fast. Cut this evil out of him.
Now, in this movie, Dylan's story mirrors his mother's role, Nancy, from A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Rex keeps him down there. The mean old man with the claws.
And to make matters worse, Dylan is much younger than the character Nancy, so he's unable to effectively fight off the entity, nor can he properly describe what's happening to him psychologically. Reason number 3, Wes Craven.
every so often they imagine a story good enough to sort of catch its essence, and then for a while it's held prisoner in the story.
Like the genie in the bottle.
Exactly.
Now, just like Heather Langenkamp, Wes Craven plays Wes Craven, the creator of the Elm Street films, which is a fictionalized version of himself.
I'll tell you what the nightmare's about so far. It's about this entity, whatever you want to call it.
And in this movie, Wes is writing a new sequel to the Elm Street series. And after Freddy's dead, the final nightmare, he's being influenced by the demon entity to resurrect Freddy.
You're saying Freddy is this ancient thing.
Right. Current version.
But the more pages of this script Wes writes, the more the entity gets his power.
Sort of gotten used to being Freddy now, and he likes our time and space, so he's decided to cross over.
And like all other Elm Street films, Wes only writes when he has a bad dream.
Actually, there is a person in the dreams, sort of a gatekeeper, so to speak. Somebody that Freddy has to get by before he can come through into our world.
So the entity is making Wes have nightmares so that Wes can finish writing the new script.
I dream a scene at night, I write it down in the morning. Beyond that, your guess is as good as mine where it's going.
And with the entity itself controlling the script, the only person who can stop the entity is Heather Langenkamp.
And there's somebody who can stop him.
She must be willing to allow the entity to merge the movie with reality.
It was Nancy, Wes. It's not Not me.
Yeah, but it was you that gave Nancy her strength.
This means that in order to stop the entity, she must be willing to play Nancy Thompson one last time.
So in order to get out, he's got to come through you. And it's inevitable that he's going to try to do that at your most vulnerable points.
Reason number 4, Robert Englund.
If there's anything I can do, Heather. Anything.
Thank you, Robert.
Now, Robert Englund, the face of Freddy Krueger in the Elm Street films, is also being affected by the entity.
Let me get this straight. You're having nightmares about Freddy? As in me?
The entity is using Robert's suppressed guilt of playing such a hideous character on screen and bringing real-life terror into people's lives, mainly children's lives.
He's
Darker. More evil?
Yeah. How did you know?
Now, if the entity can cause Robert to relinquish possession of playing Freddy, then the entity can be Freddy for all of eternity.
Oh, yeah. As far as Dylan trying to reach God, whatever that means.
So, how exactly will Robert respond?
Yeah, sure.
Reason number 5, the entity. Now, an ancient demonic presence known as the entity, it has been around forever. And to gain power and sustain itself, it has affected many writers over many different ages. But after discovering the mass hysteria and the powers of the character of Freddy Krueger from the Elm Street films, the entity has decided that he no longer has to live in the pages of books and in the minds of people as legends. He can bring a nightmare on Elm Street to the real world.
Miss me?
Now, all he has to do is control the writings of Wes Craven and kill Heather Langenkamp, his only weakness, as she's the essence of Nancy Thompson.
Nancy.
Now, throughout this movie, every actor gets transformed into the Elm Street character.
Nancy, pull yourself together before you make yourself and that kid nuts.
And this will allow him to be forever. Now, in the end, Wes Craven's New Nightmare is my personal favorite of the Elm Street films. This movie was very controversial among Elm Street fans, and I think this movie was truly before its time. Therefore, people weren't really ready for this style of movie, and we wouldn't get this sort of meta storytelling into the Scream franchise. And now audiences have been groomed to accept these sort of stories. And we have to realize that this movie came out before any variants, any time jumps, timelines, and any sort of story within a story. Now, this type of thing only existed in comic books, and in 1994, comic book movies weren't in style. I mean, there were no MCU or DCU. Wes Craven was a genius, such a genius that his work wouldn't be truly appreciated until modern times, a whopping 30 years later. And if you haven't seen this movie, then please do yourself a favor, because I highly recommend this one. Now, if you want to wear merch from your favorite horror movies, then I've got just the thing for you. Just click on the link in the descriptions and in the pinned comments that says Horror Movie Shirts. Our store has the best designs, and we'll see you there. And until next time, when said talks horror. Now, this video is sponsored by my Patreon supporters. Thank you for your support, and God bless. The Rewind is our exclusive membership section, and by joining the Rewind, you'll receive exclusive content not found anywhere else. You'll receive early releases, video shoutouts, behind the scenes footage and photos, unreleased and unedited kill scenes that we can't show you on YouTube, plus special commentary from yours truly, CEDtalks. So join the Rewind today by clicking the link in the descriptions and in the pinned comments.
Hey, Dylan. Ever played Skin the Cat?